The Canton of Lucerne is a canton of Switzerland. It is located in the center of Switzerland. The population of the canton is 394,604. As of 2007, the population included 57,268 foreigners, or about 15.8% of the total population. The cantonal capital is Lucerne. History. The Canton of Lucerne comprises territories acquired by its capital Lucerne, either by treaty, armed occupation or purchase. The first town acquired was Weggis, Rothenburg, Kriens, Horw, Sempach and Hochdorf, Wolusen and Entelbach. The so-called Habsburger region to the northeast of the town of Lucerne, Willisau, Sursee and Beremunster, Malters and Littau, while in 1803, in exchange for Hitzkirch, Merenschwand was given up. Prehistory. The oldest traces of humans in the Lucerne area are stone artifacts and cave bare bones found in the Steigelfadbarm cave on Mount Rigi from the Middle Paleolithic or about 30,000 BC. Other animal bones including mammoth, reindeer and giant deer from the local glacial maximum have also been found in the canton. Around 17,000 BC the glaciers disappeared from the Swiss plateau and recolonization is likely at the time. The first Paleolithic and Mesolithic settlement discovered in the canton is in the Wauweiler, which is now a Swiss heritage site of national significance. A number of other settlements have since been found, mainly on sandy, dry elevations in the immediate vicinity of water. The settlements of Egolswil-3 in Wauweiler in Egolswil, Seematt Hitzkirch and Halbinsel in Sursee are part of the prehistoric pile dwellings around the Alps, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The Wauweiler houses had wooden or bark floors and hearths of clay. The villages had ceramic vessels and wood, bone, antler, stone and flint tools as well as textiles. Copper axe blades and knives provide the first evidence of metal use in Switzerland. Imported mollusks show that there were trade connections to the Mediterranean. The bones at Egolswil-3 are over two-thirds from domestic animals with the remainder from wild animals. The main domesticated animals were sheep, goats and pigs with only a few domestic cattle. The animals hunted included deer, roe deer, wild boar and elk. During the Bronze Age the canton was quite settled. There were a number of settlements on the shores of Lake Sempach and Lake Baldeg along with hilltop settlements, graves and scattered items throughout the area. At Hochdorf Baldeg a fenced village from the early Bronze Age was uncovered. The single-story houses all had clay or stone hearths. During the Middle Bronze Age most of the villages were not located directly on the lake shores. The Late Bronze Age settlement at Sursee-Zelm on Lake Sempach featured houses arranged in rows with mortared stone. The walls were timber-lined with clay. Another Late Bronze Age settlement near the village of Schotz was densely populated between 1350 and 800 BC. While numerous individual Iron Age items have been found, almost no settlements have been discovered. For the Hallstatt period mainly graves have been discovered. Very little is known about the Latin period in Lucerne. Some iron tools, gold coins, ceramic vessels and a glass bangle as well as a burial ground with at least 4 graves have been found. During the Roman era, the canton was once again thickly settled. A number of farms were built in the north-south running valleys. During the 1st century AD, the farms provided food for the legion camp in Vandenisse and for the larger settlements located in the Swiss plateau. Towards the end of the 1st century there was a vicus at Sursee. The remains of houses show that there were a number of small shops and manufacturing buildings in the town. The west bank of the Suhr was fortified with a stone slip ship and may have served as a ship or raft berth. Imports from various regions of the Roman Empire provide evidence of extensive trade relations. Sursee was likely a freight hub for trade with the entire Alpine region. Early Middle Ages. Following the collapse of the Roman Empire, the Canton of Lucerne was settled by the Alemanni, which generally settled away from the Roman settlements. Some exceptions include a Roman manor at Bern and the Roman town of Sursee. An Alemannic grave field was found at Isch with 61 graves with wooden coffins from before the 7th century before. In the women's graves there were necklaces with glass and amber beads, while swords were found in the men's graves. Belt buckles and small iron knives were found in the graves of both sexes. A few items from the southern Alpine region, southern Germany and Burgundy indicate that trade continued. Two early medieval stone grave vaults, both of which were used for multiple burials, were found in the church of Alteshofen. In the treasury of Barrow-Munster Abbey there is a 7th century ornate reliquary of gilded copper plates, which probably came from northern Italy. Foundation of Lucerne City. Lucerne grew up around a Benedictine monastery, founded about 750 on the right bank of the Reuss by Murbach Abbey in Alsace, of which it long remained a cell. It is first mentioned in a charter of 840 under the name of Luciaria, which is probably derived from the patron saint of the monastery, St. Leo de Gau. The name Lucerne is first mentioned in 1252. At some point, a small village grew up around the monastery. The first signs of a municipal constitution appear in 1252. With the growing power of the Habsburgs in the area, the ties that bound Lucerne to Murbach weakened. In 1291 the Habsburgs finally purchased Lucerne from Murbach. The purchase of Lucerne by the Habsburgs drove the three forest cantons to form an eternal alliance, an act that is considered to be the foundation of Switzerland. In 1332 Lucerne became the fourth member of the It genus in a Swiss confederation, and the first town to join the rural forest cantons. The Battle of Sempach near Sempach drove the Habsburgs out of the region and strengthened the confederation. That victory led also to the gradual acquisition of territory ruled by and from the town. Amstelden, a wealthy innkeeper, a Schopfheim in the Entelbach valley of the Canton of Lucerne, was the leader of a planned rebellion of the valley against the city of Lucerne. In a plot to limit the power of the city, officials from the neighboring canton of Obwalden had promised the support. The conspiracy was detected before they could stage the planned coup. On the 24th of August 1478, Amstelden was arrested, tortured and interrogated, and finally beheaded in November 1478. The incident furthered the distrust amongst rural and urban cantons in the old Swiss Confederacy and was one of the reasons for the conclusion of the Stance of Verkehmnis in 1481, an important coalition treaty of the cantons of the old Swiss Confederacy. During the Reformation, Lucerne remained attached to Roman Catholicism, of which ever since it has been a great stronghold in Switzerland. The papal nuncio resided here from 1601 to 1873. In the 16th century, during the early modern age, the town government fell into the hands of an aristocratic oligarchy, whose power, though shaken by the Swiss Peasant War of 1653 in the Entelbach, lasted till 1798. Under the French-supported Helvetic Republic, Lucerne was the seat of the central government. When the Republic collapsed, under the Act of Mediation it was one of the 6 directorial cantons, and during the Restoration it was one of the 3 ruling cantons. The patrician government was swept away by the cantonal constitution of 1831. But in 1841 the Conservatives regained power. They quickly recalled the Jesuits, who had been expelled by earlier radical governments, to head the cantonal school system. The riots that followed brought about the Sonderbund War, in which the Conservatives were defeated, the decisive battle taking place at Gisichen, not far from Lucerne. Geography. The Canton of Lucerne is located in the center of Switzerland. It is drained by the Reuss and the Kleine Emmer. The lands of the canton lie on the northern foothills of the Swiss Alps. The highest elevation of the Canton of Lucerne is at the Brienzer Rothorn at 2,350 meters. The area of the canton is 1,493 square kilometers, 817.7 square kilometers. About 55% of the total land area is used for agriculture. An additional 449.0 square kilometers of the canton is wooded. The remainder of the canton is either developed, 125.3 square kilometers, or unproductive, 101.5 square kilometers. Political subdivisions. Districts. The canton is divided into 5 districts termed Amte. Amt Lucerne with capital Lucerne, Amt Hochdorf with capital Hochdorf, Amt Sursee with capital Sursee, Amt Willisau with capital Willisau, Amt Entelbach with capital Schopfheim. Municipalities. There are 83 municipalities in the canton. Politics. Federal election results. AFDP before 2009. FDP B** indicates that the party was not on the ballot in this canton. C part of a coalition with the FGA. D part of a coalition with the Green Party. Demographics. Lucerne has a population of 394,604. As of 2013, 18.1% of the population are resident foreign nationals, of which 15.5% are from Europe, 1.4% from Asia, 0.7% from Africa, and 0.5% from America. Over the last 10 years the population has changed at a rate of -0.4%. Migration accounted for -1.2%, while births and deaths accounted for 1.3%. Most of the population speaks German as the first language, while Serbo-Croatian, Italian, Albanian and English are the second most common languages, followed by Portuguese and French with 2% each, and Spanish with 1%. Of the population in the canton, 115,233 or about 32.9% were born in Lucerne and lived there in 2000. There were 101,980 at 29.1% who were born in the same canton, while 66,486 and 19.0% were born somewhere else in Switzerland, and 55,314 or 15.8% were born outside of Switzerland. As of 2000, children and teenagers make up 25% of the population, while adults make up 58.6% and seniors make up 16.4%. As of 2000, there were 158,345 people who were single and never married in the canton. There were 159,152 married individuals, 18,853 widows or widowers, and 14,154 individuals who are divorced. As of 2000, there were 13,430 private households in the canton, and an average of 2.5 persons per household. There were 47,012 households that consist of only one person, and 12,952 households with 5 or more people. As of 2009, the construction rate of new housing units was 4.7 new units per 1,000 residents. As of 2003, the average price to rent an average apartment in Lucerne city was 1,150.31 Swiss francs per month. The average rate for a one-room apartment was 646 Swiss francs and 7 Rappen. A two-room apartment was about 879 Swiss francs and 64 Rappen. A three-room apartment was about 1,033 Swiss francs and 60 Rappen, and a sixth-more-room apartment cost an average of 2,032 Swiss francs and 38 Rappen. The average apartment price in Lucerne was 103.1% of the national average of 1,116 Swiss francs. The vacancy rate for the canton in 2010 was 0.77%. The largest population centers are Lucerne, Ermont and Kriens. Historic population. The historical population is given in the following chart. Economy. Much of the land in the canton is used for agriculture. Agriculture is the most significant source of income, but industry is also developed. The most important agricultural products are crops, fruit and cattle breeding. Industry concentrates on textiles, machinery, paper, wood, tobacco and metallurgical goods. Tourism is of great importance. The Canton of Lucerne is a gateway to holiday resorts in the nearby Alps, and much of the transit traffic between Germany and Italy crosses the region. As of 2010, Lucerne had an unemployment rate of 1.4%. As of 2008, there were 1,764 people employed in the primary economic sector and about 703 businesses involved in this sector. 5,388 people were employed in the secondary sector and there were 324 businesses in this sector. 9,431 people were employed in the tertiary sector, with 1,113 businesses in this sector. In 2008, the total number of full-time equivalent jobs was 160,133. The number of jobs in the primary sector was 9,608, of which 9,462 were in agriculture, 119 were in forestry or lumber production and 27 were in fishing or fisheries. The number of jobs in the secondary sector was 48,191, of which 31,698 were in manufacturing. 142 were in mining and 14,990 were in construction. The number of jobs in the tertiary sector was 102,334. In the tertiary sector, 25,105 or 24.5% were in the sale or repair of motor vehicles. 8,182 or 8.0% were in the movement and storage of goods. 8,146 or 8.0% were in a hotel or restaurant. 3,835 or 3.7% were in the information industry. 7,000 or 6.8% were the insurance or financial industry. 10,979 or 10.7% were technical professionals or scientists. 8,111 or 7.9% were in education and 15,924 or 15.6% were in health care. Of the working population, 12.1% used public transportation to get to work, and 48.5% used a private car. Religion. From the 2000 census, 248,545 or 70.9% were Roman Catholic, while 39,426 or 11.2% belonged to the Swiss Reformed Church. Of the rest of the population, there were 7,801 members of an Orthodox Church. There were 471 individuals who belonged to the Christian Catholic Church, and there were 7,564 individuals who belonged to another Christian church. There were 399 individuals who were Jewish, and 13,227 who were Islamic. There were 875 individuals who were Buddhist, 1,715 individuals who were Hindu, and 293 individuals who belonged to another church. 20,681 belonged to no church, are agnostic or atheist, and 13,007 individuals did not answer the question. Education. In Lucerne, about 127,331 or of the population have completed non-mandatory upper secondary education, and 42,391 have completed additional higher education. Of the 42,391 who completed tertiary schooling, 65.0% were Swiss men, 23.6% were Swiss women, 7.0% were non-Swiss men, and 4.4% were non-Swiss women. Institutions of higher education include the Lucerne University of Applied Sciences, which also has campuses in Lucerne and HORW.